Hello traders, welcome back. I'm Kenya from BK Forex Academy, and in this tutorial, I'm going to talk to you about support and resistance. We're going to go ahead and hop right into it. Now, in your first year as a trader, one of the things that you need to learn is support and resistance, okay? Resistance, I'm going to keep it simple. You're going to see a lot of technical terms on the internet. Resistance is simply an area where we expect selling pressure to come in. So looking at this chart, when we identify resistance, there are possible areas where we expect selling pressure to come in. Support is an area where buying pressure comes in. So looking at my chart, you can see right now, this is how I like my chart. So my buy candles, you can see these candles going up. These are my buy candles. And so this represents buyers. These red candles on my chart represent sellers. So see that market going down, you can see that sellers are in control on this daily chart right now, right? So whether you are in the market short term or long term, one of the things you always want to do is start on, I would say, the daily or weekly time frame. The daily or weekly time frame is where you want to mark up your chart and you want to identify and ask yourself, which way is the market trending, okay? So before I find support and resistance, I like to know which way is the market trending. So I'm looking at the daily. I can simply take my trend line and I can go ahead and draw my trend line, connecting it from the high and bringing it all the way down, and I can confirm that we are in a downtrend. Now, how do I know that? Because according to market structure, which if you are a beginning trader, you probably will eventually learn about market structure, but simply it is support and resistance on your chart. It also identifies the directional trend in the market. So how do we know that we're in a downtrend? Well, we see it with our naked eye, right? But we also know that this market made a high, it made a low, it made a lower high, it made a lower low, and then we continue to define that market structural pattern. So after we know that we're in a downtrend, then this means, you know what? Sellers are in control, but it looks like they might have ran out of steam right about down here. So when you're looking at support, I like to identify support as the floor, all right? We can find support with trend lines. We can also find it with horizontal lines. In a downtrend, we use our trend line as our resistance, okay? And when we are in an uptrend, for example, so let's say if I get rid of this, we can use our trend line as support in an uptrend, right? So support, okay? I can draw that better, but I think you kind of get it. So in a downtrend, we can use it as resistance. In an uptrend, we can use it as support. And even if I wanted to trap this inside of a channel, so you'll learn about channels as well. If I simply wanted to create a channel, I can clone this. And now when I bring this channel on the other side, this will be my trend line support. So in a downtrend, this will be my trend line support, and this will be my trend line resistance up here. Now, I can also identify support and resistance like this. So one of the things that I see here on the daily, this is our most recent area of support. So when you think of support, think of it kind of like as a floor that's holding you up. So this would be our floor, and you can see the market came here multiple times. It stopped and bounced off of it. So I want you to think of the floor. Let's say that this is you and you are standing on the floor, right? And you have a ball. So this is your ball, and you're going to throw your ball up to the ceiling, all right? So let's say that your ceiling is right about here. I'm just doing this kind of with my naked eye right now. So that's your ceiling, and we're gonna turn our ceiling to red so we know that that's our ceiling. And we expect for our ball to bounce off of the ceiling and come back to the floor. And this is what happens with support and resistance. Now, traders see support and resistance different. We all see support and resistance zones very different. So a more professional trader with a lot more experience, they're going to identify areas that you probably would not identify if you were a newer trader, because they've trained their eye to find the strongest areas on their chart of where to buy and sell. So we use areas of support for potential areas to buy, and we use areas of resistance for potential areas to sell. So when you are looking at support, okay, support is your horizontal line where buyers overcome the sellers. So look how long this market was coming down. All right, now there are other areas I can also identify as support, but we're gonna get there. But just look, and then look for the past consecutive days, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Look how many times the market has tested this area. So when you are looking at support, you really want to find areas where the market has rejected it multiple times, respected it, come back to it. These are areas where we're going to expect for the market to potentially reverse. Now look what happened when the market went up. You see this white candle here? Look how the market went up. Where did it stop? Right here. It bounced off the ceiling. It came back down almost to our floor. What did it do? It bounced back up, didn't quite get to the ceiling, okay? Came back down to the floor, and now price has bounced off our floor again. So when we are looking at support and resistance, we look for price to bounce off of our floor, off of support, and it will come to a level of resistance. It's either going to respect that level and either bounce off of it, or it could potentially break through it. So you'll learn later on, when levels are broken and how they're retested. But in this video, I'm just going to keep it simple and simply talk about support and resistance and how to identify it. So now that you know this is you have your floor and you also have your ceiling. You know that resistance is an area where we expect selling pressure to come in. So now that we've identified this as an area of resistance, now keep in mind of this. Support usually becomes future resistance. Resistance usually can become future support. All right, so look here. Look where you had this area of support and it bounced up. Hold on one second. So you have your support and it bounced up. It came back to the floor, went up just a little bit, continued to go down, came up, continued to go up, came back down to the floor, went back up, came back down to this same floor, bounced off of it, came back through it, okay? Went back through it again. Look where it came back again, the floor. Look how many times it bounced off. Now look here where it came back to the floor and look at this massive move to the upside, all right? So when you are looking for very strong areas of support and resistance, you want to find areas on your chart where price came to multiple times and it made an explosive move from that area. If it made a minor move where the price just went up just a little bit, those would be your minor areas of support. So for example, right here, I would say this is more of a minor area of support, but here is a more dominant area, I would say, of a support where you can see, look here, look how much the market went up. That's a lot of pips on the daily. So look here, even from the bottom of this wick to the next 2 days, price went up 160 pips. From this zone here, right here, for 1, 2, 3 days, the market went up 282 pips. So if you were trading $1 a pip and you had one position and the market went up 283 pips, you would have made $283 on that one position, okay? So you might want to replay this video several times. I'll try to keep it as simple as possible, not using, big terms that are going to confuse you. But this is the concepts of support and resistance. And what you need to know is that your concept of support and resistance or your belief could be totally different from someone else's. I could identify resistance and say, you know what? I'm going to wait until the market comes back to this area of resistance or this area of resistance because this is a stronger area in my opinion. And I believe that once price comes here, I will have a powerful opportunity to sell. Now, why? Because the market likes to repeat itself. And that's why we look for the dominant areas of support and resistance on our chart. Because why? We want massive moves like this. Look how much the market went down. Now, this took a couple of days, but who wouldn't want to get into a trade and make what? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Even if we just held that trade for 6 days, I mean, would you want to make 200 pips or so just for a week in a trade? That's awesome, right? So these are the types of moves you will find on the daily chart. So comment below in the comments, are you understanding this concept of support and resistance? What resonated with you? What do you want more of? What do you need help with when it comes to support and resistance? Drop questions. We'll do our best to answer them. Otherwise, do me a favor and smash that like button on this video. It does help our channel, and we hope that this tutorial helped you. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next tutorial. Thanks for watching.